They have never told her what crime she has been arrested for. She isn't even sure she was ever arrested. They had walked up to Tina in the street as she was loading her car with shopping and placed a hand on her shoulder gently, but with the certainty of gravity. Her fingertips still remembered the chill of the milk as she placed it in the boot of the old Toyota. She had smiled when she turned, reassured by the sight of the uniforms, and didn't even notice the sternness of their expression or the fact that the faces beneath the helmets were identical. All day she had been feeling on edge, smelling the faintest hint of something rotten on the wind. Had it been her imagination? No. Others had sensed it too, she was sure of it. In the shops she had seen them, eyes darting nervously, fingers drumming incessantly on trolley handles, waiting for whatever was coming. And all day that intense, unshakable feeling that she was being watched. So when she turned and saw them standing there, so official in their vests and helmets, what else was she to think? Thank goodness, it flitted through her mind as Tina felt herself relax. Whatever it is, someone is taking care of it. Because that's what they were for. To take care of these problems, to shuffle people away for their own protection and keep the world working as it should be. She smiled, even as the shadowed figure did not remove his hand from her shoulder. "Hello, officer. How can I help?" "I'm afraid you're going to have to come with us," they had said, as the sky above them began to change. And then she was here. Tina didn't remember the journey, not properly. There was an image of the backseat of a car, bruised face pressed against metal grating, wrists pinched so tight by metal she could feel every beat of her pulse. Or was it the back of a van? Deep rumblings from the wheel well beneath her seat, vision obscured by a black bag that smelled of other people's despair. Had she been forced to listen to a sanctimonious lecture on choices, on right and wrong and other luxuries? Or sharp-edged jokes at her expense in a language she didn't quite understand, which turned to shouts and blows when she risked a movement? It didn't matter. It wasn't her memory. She was just here. The room in which Tina found herself was barren, a metal bench encrusted with something black and flaky and a bucket in the corner. That was it. It was obviously a mistake, some miscommunication somewhere, or a case of mistaken identity. These things were unfortunate, but sometimes they happened. One of the people in charge would no doubt realize and sort it all out. She smothered the kernel of dread that was lurking in her chest. She just needed to be patient. The bench was uncomfortable to sit on, and she began to shiver from the cold. Had she ever been this cold before? Outside, of course, in the deepest winter, bundled up and pushing through to a heated home. But sat inside, with nowhere to go, nothing to change or wrap up in, just a thin grey jumpsuit, unable to do anything but sit there and shiver. That was a sort of cold that was alien to her. She stood, trying to push down her physical discomfort and worry with movement. The cell was small and cramped, and Tina kept hitting her shin on the bench. She paused, casting an eye over the rough concrete wall surrounding her, covered in deep grooves and scratch marks. She turned away quickly and saw the window above her. Had there been a window when she had first come here? When had that been? It had no glass, just thick iron bars. But if she stood on tiptoe and really strained, she could just about see out of it. When she saw the world beyond her walls, her heart sank. The world seemed bright and normal. The sun was high and shining, though none of it passed through the bars. And if she tried to reach through, the light seemed to shrink from her skin. Cars passed by on the road. Somewhere, a bird was singing. The world didn't miss her, didn't know or care about what was happening beyond these walls. A child passed by, a girl with plaited blonde hair and a bright orange bicycle. Tina called quietly, suddenly afraid of who might be listening on the other side of her cell door. The child's eyes met hers, the first moment of human connection that she had really felt since she'd arrived. But hadn't she only just got here? And Tina felt herself begin to smile. Then the child's eyes narrowed in sudden hatred as the little girl bent down, picked up a rock and hurled it at the window. It passed cleanly through the bars and hit Tina square in the forehead. Her vision flashed white with pain as she fell back, slamming against the bench with a crunch. Part of her wanted to lie there and weep, overcome with what was happening to her. But faster than that came the anger, the indignation. How dare they? She did not deserve this. She was better than this. This did not happen to people like her. She clawed her way back up to the window and looked out, trying to see the spiteful little brat. But the girl was now behind her father, who shooed her away with a terror in his eyes. A terror aimed at Tina. And for the briefest of moments, she was certain that the man's fear was mocking her. Behind her she heard the sound of a key sliding into the filthy iron lock of her cell door. She tried to tell herself that sound was a good thing, that it meant someone was coming to check on her, to clear this all up, to tell her what was happening. But this was not the place for such lies. The door opened, and there they stood, identical in their uniforms, their skin fish-belly white, and their eyes gleaming with malice. And then she was back in her cell. She didn't remember the interview, not properly. Or had it been a trial? There had been a man, she was certain of it, and he had smiled as he sat across from her. There had been a file, a thick manila envelope stained with grease and coffee, which held the pages of her life typed out in a small, no-nonsense font. She remembered that she had read those pages with increasing alarm. It had all been there, all of it. Her life, her loves, her choices, her mistakes. No detail spared, no nasty inference ignored. There was no benefit of the doubt here, no understanding or kindness, only the disinterested ink of words that would see her prosecuted. None of these things are illegal, she had said. The man had laughed at that. It had been a dry and hacking sound that cracked the mirrored glass of the interview room and made the jurors' ears bleed. He stroked his badge. Or had it been that gnarled and blood-stained gavel? The laws have changed. And now she is back in her cell. Or a cell that looks like hers. It is smaller, perhaps. The metal bench is cleaner, but rusted through on the hinges, so when she lies on it, it squeals and threatens to collapse. They never told her any charges, never gave her any verdict. She is certain she will see that man, the judge, or the detective, or the warden. She will see him again. Perhaps she will be removed, or written up, or reprimanded. The cold is settling in. The hunger is biting her as she tries to sleep. There has been a mistake. She should not be here. But she had met the person in charge. She had pleaded her case, told him of what had happened. And he had laughed at her. A tray slides under the door, spilling thin, watery stew over the floor, tipping out chunks of something that glistens and writhes. Tina ignores it as she grabs the hatch and tries to keep it open, tries to tell the guards to explain what's happened, that something's gone wrong, that she shouldn't be here. This isn't right. Why can't anybody see this? This isn't the place for people like her. The hatch slams shut on her fingers and she pulls her hand back, pain robbing her voice of protest for a moment. Outside the window, night has fallen, and the temperature starts dropping even further. Perhaps if she behaved, they would give her a blanket. Perhaps she could see other people, share her story of injustice. Tina tells herself so many lies, as she shivers in the dark. The moonlight falls on those old and faded scratch marks on the concrete wall, and as she places her hand on the shallow grooves, they match her fingers perfectly. She refuses to count the tally marks that cover every inch.